Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'm Mary Pouton. I'm the Assistant Dean of Development for the School of Medicine. And thank you very much for joining us here today to witness Dr. Chao's installation as the Anesthesiology Endowed Professor in Translational Research. Our investiture ceremonies have become one of our most meaningful ceremonies at the School of Medicine. This important tradition allows us to convey the school's immense appreciation to our donors, as well as highlight the wonderful achievements of one of our most esteemed faculty members. It highlights that endowed professorships are among our top priorities and play a critical role in providing support for our faculty who are dedicated to improving human health. Today's ceremony is one small way to convey the school's immense appreciation to our donors and demonstrate this. The Anesthesiology Endowed Professorship in Translational Research was established through a leadership gift from the Department of Anesthesiology. Their foresight made today possible and will propel medical research forward in perpetuity. You will hear more about the department's generosity later in the program. Now it's my privilege to introduce today's Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Peter Rock, the Martin Helrich Professor and Chair of the Department of Anesthesiology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Peter Rock.
Mary, thank you for that kind introduction. Thank you all for joining us on this prestigious occasion. It is really my pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies today and to introduce one of our leaders at this special ceremony. Our first speaker this afternoon will be Dr. E. Albert Reese, Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, the John Z. and Akiko K. Bowers Distinguished Professor, and Dean of the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Please join me in welcoming Dean Reese to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome. It's good to see so many of you here to celebrate Dr. Chao's investiture, but more importantly, his career and career accomplishments. I'd also like to recognize a number of distinguished colleagues in the audience. President Perman, President of the University of Maryland, Baltimore, who's with us. I've seen our department chairs, some Senate directors, and senior faculty members. Of course, our regular faculty members. We're delighted to have all of you here to celebrate this very special occasion. I want to particularly extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Chao's family, a beautiful family sitting at the front row. This is certainly a proud day for all of you to be here. I'd like to make just a few general comments about the School of Medicine and why this has become such a very special event when we invest one of our colleagues in an endowed professorship. The School of Medicine takes great pride in its faculty, and as a consequence of our investment in the faculty, then our school benefits from that overall. We are a School of Medicine, fairly large, with about 3,000 faculty and about 1,300 students and another 6,000 staff members. More importantly, we rank about number 8 out of 86 public and 22 out of 154. By the way, it was 151 last week. It's 154 now since 3 more schools have actually been accredited. So we're very pleased that our endowed professorships, including the most recent, which is the Anesthesiology Endowed Professorship in Translation Research, collectively provide an excellent faculty members the critical resources needed to sustain and expand promising research, to launch innovative clinical initiatives, and to educate and train the physician scientists of tomorrow. So these are the kinds of a fringe benefit, if you will, for these endowed professorships, not only the accolades that they bring to the recipient, but the resources they also provide for them to do the type of cutting-edge work that is necessary. These endowed professorships that we, in academia, is considered to be so well sought after, are not new to academia. But briefly, many of you are well aware of the fact that these professorships have begun 500 years ago in Britain, starting with in 1502, where the first one was created by Lady Margaret Shears in Divinity at Oxford and Cambridge universities. And most recently, the most well-known is the Lucasian shared mathematics that was occupied by Sir Isaac Newton and subsequently by Sir Stephen Hawking. So Dr. Chao, you are entering a very rare group, and I'm sure that you have made your important contributions to be most deserving of this accolade. In the world of academia, endowed chairs and professorships are coveted and are universally recognized accolade as an honor bestowed upon the very best and brightest of our faculty members, such as Dr. Wei Chao. These very talented faculty members inspire students, they advance the frontier of knowledge, and they make discoveries that change people's lives. We have mentioned we have at the present time about 82 endowed chairs and professorships in various stages of completion and held by a number of our faculty members. Those faculty members in the audience who currently hold endowed chairs or professor, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. And Dr. Chao, you'll be joining this distinguished group momentarily. Over the course of the next hour, you will hear from Dr. Chao's colleagues and friends who will highlight his significant career achievements. So let me just conclude this part of my remarks by saying to you, Dr. Chao, congratulations on your accomplishments, on your career advances over the years, and for this very special celebration of your career, and as we honor you and all the contributions that you have made to medicine and science. Congratulations to you. Before we move forward with the ceremony, I'd like to take a few moments to recognize the Department of Anesthesiology, whose contributions made this professorship and today's celebration possible. This professorship was created through the leadership of the department chair and the hard work of the faculty of the Department of Anesthesiology as a commitment to the future of the department, to the future of the School of Medicine, and the future of the University of Maryland, Baltimore campus. As a namesake of longtime chair Dr. Martin Hellerich, who served as the chair of the department for 31 years, this new professorship in the department will profoundly impact the lives of patients treated here at the University of Maryland and the University of Maryland Medical Center. So on behalf of the entire School of Medicine, I'd like to once again thank Dr. Rock, thank the Department of Anesthesiology for their generous contribution, but also for their vision in making this contribution to the future of the department and our institution. This extraordinary contribution will significantly influence the department, the school, and the university. So I'd like to invite Dr. Rock and the department leadership to join me on the stage to accept an award from the school. Dr. Rock's leadership is very shy. Nobody's coming. Where's your leadership, Dr.?
They're here. Come on. Gary, Constantine, Ann, who else is here?
Let me tell you.
There we go, Dr. Faden. Who else?
Okay, you stand right over
Are there any other division chiefs? Andy, your vice chair, please come forward. Come on.
They're really shy.
I guarantee you they are not shy.
So let me tell you what we'll do at this point. As many of you have known, what we have created so far is a medallion that many of us are wearing. And on the front side of the medallion is Dr. John Beals Davidge, his face on the right side with Davidge Hall, and on the back side would, of course, be what the medal is dedicated to. This I have in my hand is a replica which will be given to the department to reflect the contribution that it has made. So, Dr. Rock, let me give this to you and thank you on behalf of the School of Medicine for that wonderful contribution. It's now time to move forward with our ceremony to honor Dr. Chao. So, Dr. Rock, would you come and introduce the speakers?
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Before I introduce the speakers, I'd just like to make a few comments about, I'd like to thank some people, and I would like to tell you why this is important to the department, and then I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Chao. It is really one of my great pleasures to speak to you today. This is a really great day, but it's a great day not just for the department, but for the school, for the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and our partners in clinical care, both at the Medical Center and at the University of Maryland Medical System, because really only with collaboration and partnerships can great things like this be accomplished, such as creating this endowed professorship. Endowed professorships are an investment in the future and provide sustainable funds to support research programs, and they allow us to recruit the best and most accomplished individuals, which, as you will hear shortly, is a really apt description for Dr. Wade Chao. So in terms of thanks, I want to thank a couple of people in one large group. First, I want to thank Tom Scalia. I don't believe he could be here today, but our partnership in the STAR ORC and our clinical work together in the operating room and the ICUs has strengthened both our programs, and his participation in the recruitment of Dr. Chao was instrumental to the success of bringing Wade to Maryland and the School of Medicine. Secondly, I want to thank Dean Reese. Dr. Reese's support and encouragement has greatly fostered the growth of our research program, and I think you know one of Dr. Reese's favorite word is relentless, and he certainly has been relentless in encouraging us and supporting us in our goal to make our department one of the nation's top anesthesiology programs. Third, I want to thank the faculty of the Department of Anesthesiology. Dr. Reese has already mentioned how this professorship was created through funds the department had, and this professorship represents our investment in ourselves and our commitment to the future of academic anesthesiology here at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. So to the faculty here and to those who couldn't be here today, please accept my most sincere thanks and appreciation for all of your hard work, dedication, and support of academic anesthesiology at the University of Maryland. And I'm going to stop here and say we need to have a round of applause. This professorship was crucial to the recruitment of this world-class senior physician scientist we are honoring today, and it will be used to expand the work and impact of investigators in the Department of Anesthesiology. It will help us advance anesthesiology and critical care research, and it will create opportunities for new areas of discovery, new collaborations, and new treatments for critically ill patients. With this investiture, the department now has 5 such professorships, and we have the nucleus of funding for a 6th professorship. Not all departments of anesthesiology in the United States have even a single endowed chair, let alone 5 professorships. 12 years ago, when I started as chair, the department had a single professorship. We were extremely fortunate to have received a very large gift from the previous chair, Jane Majasko, and her husband, S.H. Chu, and I want to again express our deep appreciation to Dr. Majasko and Chu for their generosity. However, the department's faculty have been amongst the most generous and consistent supporters of endowed professorships, and in fact, the Hellrich Chair, which I am privileged to hold, was established with funds from the department. And so today's investiture continues the tradition of our department investing in academic programs. Today is our day to congratulate and honor Dr. Wei Chao. Wei, I wish you my most sincere congratulations. Dr. Chao hit the ground running upon his arrival on campus 3 years ago, and his accomplishments exemplify the qualities we look for when awarding a faculty member an endowed professorship. He has helped to increase the breadth and depth of our research portfolio. He collaborates with physicians and scientists inside and outside the department. He publishes in prestigious journals and makes important presentations at national and international conferences. Our total research funding has increased significantly over the last few years, and Wei has played a very important role in helping to increase this funding. The most recent Blue Ridge rankings have our department number 11 in the country, and keep in mind this isn't like 11 out of 12 departments. It's actually 11 out of about 130 departments, so if I do the math right, we're in the 8th percentile. So I'm sorry, Dr. Reese, I had to work the math to get into the top 10, okay? And Wei has played a crucial role in helping us with this achievement. As I wrap up, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Chao. Dr. Wei Chao is professor of anesthesiology and physiology and is our vice chair for translational research, as well as the associate director of the Shock, Trauma, and Anesthesiology Research Center at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. I've gotten to know Wei really well over these past few years. He is completely committed to academic medicine. He's passionate about his work, and he is committed to the highest standards of achievement and academic excellence, and so he has helped to raise the bar for what we expect of our faculty. So I have a few slides, I think, if I can figure this out. So Dr. Chao was born in Changsha, China, and I think you can see the makings already of a physician scientist. He received his medical degree from Hunan Medical College in China, and there you can see an industrious Dr. Chao working hard. And then he came to the United States and got a PhD in biochemistry under Dr. Merle Olson from the University of Texas in 1990. I think we got 2 slides there. There you see he's got his regalia on. He then did postoperative. He did postdoc training with Drs. Robert Smith and Roger Sprague of pulmonary medicine at the University of California, San Diego. And there we've got a picture of his family. He then completed his anesthesia residency training and did a research fellowship with Dr. Anthony Rosenzweig at the Massachusetts General Hospital, Harvard Medical School. And now we're beginning to see the Wei Chao that we recognize. He's got his scrubs on. And between 2000 and the end of 2015, he was an attending anesthesiologist in the Department of Anesthesia and Critical Care at MGH, an associate professor at Harvard Medical School, and principal investigator at the Critical Care Research Center directed by Dr. Warren Zapol. And you can see that picture. Dr. Zapol is to Wei's right, and Dr. Zapol is really a legendary figure in anesthesiology. He was the chair at MGH for many years, and he was an important investigator in developing uses for and the delivery system for nitric oxide. And so I know that Dr. Zapol was a very important mentor for Dr. Chao. And then in 2016, here he is in the department adopting the parapose that you take when you have your picture taken. Dr. Chao's clinical expertise is adult multidisciplinary anesthesiology with special interests in sepsis and perioperative myocardial ischemia and protection. His research focuses on the role of innate immunity and microRNA-mediated inflammation in coagulopathy, encephalopathy, and cardiomyopathy in conditions such as sepsis, trauma, and cardiac ischemia. He has published extensively in major journals such as Anesthesiology, the American Journal of Physiology, the Journal of the American Heart Association, and the Journal of Clinical Investigation, to name just a few. Our translational research program, which Dr. Chao directs, is currently supported by his 2 R01s and an R35, as well as grants from the Air Force and the Shock Society with a total annual award of $1.7 million. I want to tell you about a recent award that Dr. Chao got. He is the 2018 to 2021 recipient of the prestigious Frontiers in Anesthesia Research Award in the amount of $750,000 from the International Anesthesia Research Society. His project is entitled Extracellular RNA Inflammation and Sepsis. This award is only given every 3 years, and it fosters innovation and creativity by an investigator funding projects with originality and scientific excellence. Now, previous awardees of this grant include Beverly Orser, a very well-known anesthesiologist, now chair of anesthesiology at the University of Toronto, Ansgar Brangbink, now chair of the anesthesiology department at Columbia, and Michael Crowder, now chair of the Department of Anesthesiology at the University of Washington. Do you see a pattern? Should I look behind me? Should I be a little worried? Yes, I'm a little worried. Dr. Chao has trained more than 30 PhD and MD research fellows and students, some of them going on to independent careers. I want to introduce his family. They are all here to be part of this ceremony. He and his wife, Herling Liu, have 3 children. Calvin is a medical school senior and a budding vascular surgery resident. Dr. Sarkar, I see you in the audience, hands off. David is a junior at the University of Chicago, and Christina, a medical school student. Also, Wei's only sister, Hui Chao, is a computer engineer at Apple, works in San Jose, and she is here as well. Thank you all for coming. In his free time, I asked Wei, tell me, what do you do in your free time? First of all, I just want to be clear, I don't give him a lot of free time, okay? But in his free time, Wei says he likes to watch football. He says he is a fan of the Patriots and now the Ravens. I think many of you will immediately appreciate there's a disconnect there, although I do think he's a man of great honesty if he would come to Baltimore and say he roots for the Patriots. He likes to spend time in the gym or the swimming pool during the summer. So, Dr. Chao, once again, I congratulate you on the celebration of your investiture as the anesthesiology endowed professor in translational research. This is a very well-deserved recognition of your contributions to the School of Medicine and the Department of Anesthesiology. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Dr. Jesse D. Roberts. He is the Director of Newborn Research at the Massachusetts General Hospital and is Associate Professor of Anesthesia at Harvard Medical School. He is a pediatric anesthesiologist and a neonatologist that directs an NIH-funded laboratory in the MGH Cardiovascular Research Center. His research examines novel mechanisms of lung injury in newborns in order to identify therapeutic targets that can prevent pulmonary disease. He was the first author of the seminal New England Journal of Medicine paper that established the role for inhaled NO in the treatment of newborn pulmonary hypertension. Please welcome Dr. Roberts.
Thank you, Professor Rock, and for the kind introduction, and Dean Reese for the invitation to join this event today. I'm delighted to participate in the investiture of Dr. Wei Chao as the anesthesiology endowed professor in translational research at the University of Maryland Medical School. I first met Wei when he was a resident rotating in our clinical pediatric anesthesia service in the MGH in 1997. He struck me as a very capable clinician. Even though his training had primarily been in internal medicine until then, his calm, deliberate, and thoughtful manner endeared him to many of our patients and the anesthesia staff. It is likely that his helping raise 3 wonderful children at home shaped his kindness that he showed to our patients. After finishing his final postdoctoral fellowship in the MGH Cardiovascular Research Center, Wei set up an independent laboratory in the Department of Anesthesia. By luck, Wei's research office was just a few doors down from mine. So this allowed me to interact with him quite frequently. I was always struck by how deeply and clearly Wei thought about science and how this influenced his work. He had a knack for identifying and carefully analyzing new mechanisms that play an important role in the pathogenesis of myocardial dysfunction, sepsis, and trauma. Wei was always very generous with his time. He often had a stream of students, postdoctoral fellows, and collaborators flowing through his office, entering with new data and leaving with copious notes about what they could do next to extend their work. I could always count on Wei to listen to me describe my latest research work and provide me with thoughtful advice and encouragement. Now, Dr. Warren Zapol is the Emeritus Chair of Anesthesia at the MGH and the Reginald Jenney Professor of Anesthesia at Harvard Medical School. And although he was unable to attend this event, he asked me to pass on his congratulations to Wei and kind regards to you. As a department chair, Dr. Zapol exhibited a keen ability to pick, nurture, and develop excellent academic anesthesiologists. Warren said that his decision to recruit Wei into our department was a no-brainer. This was because Wei had glowing recommendations from one of his previous mentors, Dr. Robert Sprague at UCSD. Wei's excellent performance as an anesthesia resident and faculty member at the MGH confirmed that Warren's choice was excellent and that he recruited and supported Wei in an appropriate manner. Dr. Anthony Rosenzweig is a former research supervisor at Wei at the MGH and a Paul Dudley White Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School. Tony said that Wei required almost no mentoring when he was a fellow in the lab. He said that Wei was already an independent investigator. So much so that the only substantive comments that were made by the study section members who reviewed Wei's successful NIH Physician Scientist Career Development Award was that they were unsure that they had anything more to learn. And Tony also noted that both Wei's wife and the chief lab manager shared the first name Ling. And he said that this could make things a little confusing at lab meetings when the Wei cited advice or direction from Ling. I guess this supports the notion that behind some successful scientists, there's at least one Ling. So in closing, I congratulate you, Wei, on receiving this esteemed endowed professorship. I look forward to following the news of your continued excellent contributions to science, mentoring, and leadership at the University of Maryland Medical School.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Our next speaker is Dr. Jairan Mao. Dr. Mao is the Richard J. Kitts Professor of Anesthesia Research at the Harvard Medical School and Vice Chair for Research in the Department of Anesthesia, Critical Care, and Pain Medicine at the Massachusetts General Hospital. He is also the Chief of the Division of Pain Medicine at MGH. He is known for his pioneering work on opioid-induced hyperalgesia, a phenomenon that he first identified in the mid-90s. He is a multiple R01 funded investigator and for years has been the best funded investigator in the anesthesia department at MGH. Dr. Mao has known Dr. Chao for 20 years as a colleague and a friend. In his own words, he describes Dr. Chao as one of the most honest and hardworking physician scientists he has ever known. Dr. Mao, I'd like to welcome you to the podium for your remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Rock, and thank you, Dean Rees. I was looking at Wei's picture on this program, and I was wondering how you can take in $1.7 million research money every year and keep your useful picture like this. How you did it, I don't know. Well, it is really a great honor to be here at this event to celebrate Dr. Chao's endowed professorship. Like Dr. Roberts, I brought the warmth, Congratulations from Way's former colleagues and friends at MGH. We are truly very happy you received this recognition and honor. I also want to congratulate Way's lovely wife. We call you Xiao Liu. Xiao Liu, you have supported Way's work, his research, wholeheartedly for many, many years. Many of you may not know, actually, Wei and Xiao Liu actually met when they were studying at a medical school, and they never looked back. So Wei is an exemplary physician scientist. He actually started his research career at MGH in one of these old rooms, in one of these older buildings in the hospital. But very soon, he made a very fast and steadfast progress and soon became a real rising star among a large pool of physician scientists in the department. There's absolutely no surprise to me, and also no surprise to many of your friends over there, that your research career has reached an even higher latitude after you relocated to University of Maryland. I'm not sure which stage of your research career actually contributed more to your continuing success, MGH or over here. But I'm sure that this new environment and support from the department, from medical school, has made it all possible for you to reach a new height of your career. I know Wei will shine wherever he goes. I only wish that he could have stayed at MGH, so we could have talked more about research, talked more about politics, worry about the future of this great nation and our lives. I've been thinking a lot about the necessary elements that help our researchers actually grow. And I think certainly lab space and financial resources, department support, medical school support are all necessary and important elements. But I think the most significant and indispensable element really is the quality and the dedication of the researcher himself. For researchers, it's hard not to get frustrated and get discouraged with all the challenges we're facing. A grant can be rejected, a paper can be rejected, and Wei has persevered, succeeded, and thrived in a highly competitive research field. Wei truly is a role model for our particularly clinician researchers. Few clinician researchers that I know of can really match the degree of love and dedication Wei has expressed, and including his dedication to research, his insight, innovation, and research skills. I feel that my comments will not be complete without mentioning Wei as a person of high integrity and honesty. And you have the chance to interact with Wei over the last couple of years. Wei speaks what he thinks. He's a natural leader. He does not spare words and effort if he feels things need to be reformed or changed. He truly is a great asset for any anesthesia department. So again, congratulations, Wei. We are so proud of you. I just have one request. So next time when you receive another award, make sure you mention you once spent a significant amount of time at MGH. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roberts, Dr. Mao. It's time that we're going to move forward with the ceremony, so I'm going to invite Dr. Rock and Dr. Chao to join me at the podium. On my right side, please. Wait a second. Dr. Chao, I'm delighted to present to you one of the School of Medicine's and the university's highest honor. This anesthesiology endowed professorship in translational research. This honor acknowledges your career accomplishments and contributions to our academic community. I know that your peers and colleagues in attendance today and throughout the School of Medicine widely agree that you are most deserving of this honor. I'm now pleased to present to you this medallion, which signifies that you have now become the anesthesiology endowed professor in translational research. Dr. Rock, please. And I hope that you will wear this with great pride at very special events. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Reis. Thank you, Dr. Rock. Thank you for your endorsement. I feel extremely honored and humbled to receive this endowed professorship. I'm enormously grateful. I want to thank you for your vision and your leadership for this department and the School of Medicine. Your guidance and the support make what we do every day possible and prepare us to achieve a high level of excellence. I want to thank my colleagues at the STAR, the Shock Trauma and Anesthesiology Research Center, Dr. Ellen Faden, Dr. Rosemary Koza, for your support, your understanding, and for being my advisor during the past 3 years. My sincere thanks to all my colleagues, both clinical and the research faculty in the Department of Anesthesiology, for your hard work and your continued support to the research mission that is so vital to the success of this department. I want to thank all the supporting staff in the department for your incredible kindness and your dedication every day behind the scene. I also want to thank my dear colleagues and the friends for coming all the way from Boston. And Dr. Mao today took the train because his flight got canceled. 7 hours trip. Thank you, Dr. Mao. We've been together at Mass General for 20 years. There are two of my many colleagues in Boston as well as in Baltimore who really inspire me every day and keep me going. Jay, I truly enjoy our time together ever since we were research fellow at the Cardiovascular Research Center in Charlestown. You inspire me with your long-time dedication to neonatal care and research, your passion for doing research, and your seminal contribution to inhaled nitric oxide research that has saved so many sick blue babies in neonatal intensive care unit. Though I know you are an excellent pediatric anesthesiologist, I'm still amazed by how you interact with children. I remember during our trip to China back in 1911, while we were riding the high-speed train, you were asked by my then 6-year-old daughter, Christina, to read a cartoon book written in Chinese. And you started reading the book without any hesitation, but with full confidence. And you managed to read through the Chinese cartoon book. I didn't know how you did it and what exactly you told her. But I could tell she was very happy and satisfied. Thank you, Jay. Jaren, your success and accomplishment in pain research is totally inspiring. Your work in opioid-induced hyperalgesia was seminal and groundbreaking. And up to this day, it still impacts our daily management of the pain. As a one-time struggling physician scientist, I enjoy working with you and thank you for your friendship, wisdom, and inspiration. I learned from you as vice chair for research in one of the top anesthesia departments in the country. I enjoy the memory of our heated political debates. And I admire you, your independent thinking with principle and conviction. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you all for being here with me and my family. Thinking back, this was not the kind of life journey designed for me back in 1977. After my high school education during the era of Chinese Cultural Revolution, like millions of many other high school graduates, I was destined to go to the farm and to be re-educated by local farm. And that was exactly what I did. I was re-educated at age 16 by working the farm and learning how to grow vegetables. My best hope back then was my late father promised to get a good factory job and get me out of the farm in 2 to 3 years through his government connection. Thanks to Deng Xiaoping, in late 1977, Chinese reinstated all important college entrance exam after the gap of more than decades when China was plunged into the chaos of a cultural revolution. I took the very first exam that was offered, and that changed my life, as well as China. Coming to the U.S. as a PhD student at the University of Texas was like a turning point in my life. In the middle of the Texas desert, San Antonio was not what most Chinese thought about America back in the 1980s. America is supposed to be like New York City, with a lot of skyscrapers and countless nights. But I really enjoyed my time in Alamo Cities. I wanted to thank my PhD advisor, Dr. Merle Olson, for taking me as his first Chinese student, for opening my scientific horizon, and for letting me try all kinds of crazy experiments during my PhD thesis. My postdoctoral training at UC San Diego with Dr. Robert Smith and Roger Sprague of pulmonary medicine helped me to make a transition from basic science to translation research and further into the clinical training at MGH. Their support and their guidance was vital and meant a lot to me. Starting my clinical training at MGH in 1996 was a new milestone in my life. After nearly 9 years of absence from patient care, clinical medicine was not necessarily my strength, but somehow Warren Zapel, then the chair of the department of anesthesia at MGH, really made a bet on me. He believed that innovative research represent the future of academic medicine. He was instrumental in fostering my career growth as a physician scientist from resident, fellow, junior faculty to R1 funding investigator. I literally grew up under his watch. He could not make the trip to Baltimore for this event because of his health. I miss him dearly. I want to thank my scientific advisor and mentor, Anthony Rosenswell and late Ken Block of MGH Cardiology Division. I thank them for their scientific insight and for being a great role model as a physician scientist. After 20 years in Boston, joining the University of Maryland was one of my best decisions. Thanks to Dean Rees and Dr. Rock, and thanks to the department's support, the support of anesthesia department, and through our collaboration with many talented investigators in the Baltimore campus and the College Park, our research program has significantly expanded into new territories, including trauma, hyperbaric and hypoxia, extracellular vascular and microRNA, novel liposomal nanoparticle and imaging technology, and mitochondrial proteomics and the cardiac bioenergetics in sepsis. Through this innovative research, we are training our next generation of physician scientists and advancing academic medicine. I want to thank my fellows and students over the past many years for their hard work and dedication, for their understanding of this imperfect mentor and advisor, and for their contribution to all scientific discovery made in Chao Lab. I'm deeply indebted to all of them. Most importantly, I want to thank my young sister, Hui, and her lovely family, Jamie, Kimberly, Clea, in San Jose, California, for their caring and love, and for always being there with me in my most difficult time. Finally, I would like to conclude my remarks by thanking my family, my wife, Herlin, my son, Calvin, vascular surgeon to be, unless you change your mind, David, an economics major at University of Chicago, and Christina, a rising ninth grader at River Hill High, Clarksville, for their many years of support, for my countless hours spent in front of a computer and in the laboratory during the evening, weekends, and holidays, my absent mind at home, my seemingly lack of enthusiasm about the housework, my miss on my many, many important family events. I thank them for their understanding, forgiveness, and love. Without their support, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you for all.